Welcome to the GoPROcast, where we invite business doers who are changing lives by sharing their stories, their strategies and tactics, and who bravely talk about their failures that actually led to their biggest successes. Now it's time to Go Pro with Jeremy Torres. My guest today has cultivated a network impacting millions of people through social media. She was recognized by Facebook Inc. for the North American Community Leaders Summits in 2019, 2020, and 2021. She believes that your personal brand is more than your logo, your colors, or your tagline. It's about the person. And she says that you need to brand yourself before others do. Please welcome to the GoPROcast personal brand strategist, Jen Campbell. Hey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate you.
Oh, listen, we had a great meeting the other day, just kind of hit it off virtual coffee to see how we could help each other in life. And we're like, we got to record this. This is
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
It's good stuff. So welcome to the show. And I only start off by asking one question to every guest. Everything else is kind of free-flowing from that. But my one question that every guest gets is I ask you to tell me something good.
Something good is that I have birds that I'm hearing today.
So, you must be a northern person.
I am. The snow is starting to melt and I hear all the birds chirping outside. So
and this is May, by the way, May 2nd.
It snowed last week where I live. I live in the beautiful mountains of McCall, Idaho, 2 hours away from the nearest big box store or mall. So it's kind of the middle of nowhere, but I have lots of beautiful things around me all the time.
Yeah, that sounds like a good trade-off. I'm a South Florida kid, born and raised, but I've traveled, the United States, the Caribbean, and I've felt cold, but I've always never really lived in cold, and so I can't speak to it. But okay. I can't fathom living in it.
I couldn't either until I did. But it's a beautiful place and it's a fantastic location to raise my 4 boys.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it's about, right? Yeah. So we have the best of the beaches and all that stuff, but that's it. Like we have to drive many, many hours and overnight and to see anything other than alligators and surf. So everything's got its ups and downs, right?
Kind yeah.
So speaking of ups and downs, tell us a little bit about how you got here, where you come from, and how you got into the business that you're in, and what's the reason why you see yourself doing what you do, and really what got you here.
Personal branding is really for everyone. And I was a stay-at-home mom with 4 small boys, middle of Idaho. There's less than 4,000 residents that live here year-round. And I felt like no one really understood me. I was mislabeled. I was Jen the wife, Jen the mom, Jen that had her triplet boys running all over the grocery store, but no one really saw me for me.
Wow, triplets.
Right? It's a lot of boys. I've got another one too.
It's a lot of boys at the same time.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and we went back for another, so I have 4 boys. So
that says a lot about you and your husband that you went back for another after 3.
Oh, heck yeah. We paid good money for him too. So I'm always like, you know what?
I almost lost my headphones on that one.
Yeah. I'm like, I love you, but
it reminds me of the Blues Brothers, right? The women. How much for the women?
Yeah. They're really worth it.
Well, they do say that all kids, when you have a kid, the first 18 years cost about $1 million. And that's just for the liquor. For the parents.
Okay. I can't even imagine that. It's worth it though, but when you don't know who you are and you feel unseen, and you feel like you don't have a voice, it's a very lonely feeling when you feel like no one really understands or gets who you are. But I realized I could make a difference online. That even though I live pretty much in the middle of nowhere, even though it's beautiful here, that I could impact millions of people online through it.
That's the ticket. You said, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm here and I'm Jen the mom and Jen the wife and Jen the housemaker and Jen the woman who lives in a beautiful place, but not really much roundabout. You all know each other, right? You've met.
Right. There's no fast food here. We have 2 stoplights. I'm like, we're talking way rural.
But you said that's not going to stop me because there's this little thing called the internet. And then how did it come, though, to you deciding it's all about branding, how did that strike you to where that's where you wanted to just lay your niche? Is that little slash, which is something that very few people get right.
Well, I love people in general. I have a background in customer service, and I have this ability just to see the good in people and who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
And I love to bring that out. And it really makes me feel disappointed when I know someone in real life and when they show up online, they're not the same.
Yeah.
That little sparkle and everything about their personality, they're showing up the airbrushed version of their life. That you look at my beautiful children all lined up. They never make a mistake. I never yell at them. I never feed them ice cream for dinner, those sorts of things. But that's what I get to do now. I get to help people tell their story so that they can connect with people and sell more stuff.
Yeah, well, I love this. I love the term that you get to. Everyone who listens to this show knows that this is called the Get To Studio. Because I get to come here every day, talk to people like you and reach other people with different messages. And you and I, we live on this message. You're a direct competitor to me, literally. But I can't help everybody. Hell, I can hardly help the people that I meet because they're not a good fit for me. Even the people even my corral, I can't help these people. I need people who can help people because the very few of us that we speak the same language, even though and when I say you're a direct competitor, you are more of a direct competitor than other branding people because our messages are so alike. But the way we do this is we get to talk to people like this, and that way we get to help more people because there's only so many hours and minutes in a day. And
right. And we all say the same sorts of things. I mean, like there's tons of other people that are like, oh, do this, do that. But it's who the person is. It's not what you do, it's who you are. And that really resonates with your potential clients and customers.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Bob Burg says that people, all things being equal, they're going to buy from people they know, like, and trust. And if they know, like, and trust you because they connect with you and your story, they're going to support you in your business.
Yeah, that's right. Bobby's a friend of mine. We both live in South Florida and part of this Go Giver Network. Yep, I'm going to be with him in July. He's a part of the Florida Speakers Association, which I'm actually president of starting in June. So I get a lot of FaceTime with Bob.
Oh, that's fantastic. Look at that.
He's got Go Giver Network. I'll give them a shout out. Join the Go Giver Network, $200 a year, and you get to sit with Bob every single week in a group chat surrounding where he motivates you every single day with some closed social media messages. So you called out a good one there.
That's fantastic. You can tell he's made a difference. And authenticity online is something that people are really missing. Yeah. That's why it's so important as part of my personal brand and what I really encourage my people to do. They're not going to trust you if they don't feel like they really know you or
and
that you're showing up.
LinkedIn is all business, right? You can't put pictures of your kids on LinkedIn. I call BS on that.
It is.
You can.
And I'm going to start having live conversations. I'm going to be having these live conversations of moments that you cringe forward. And I think, that there's always
lean on that one. What is that?
Yes.
Let's get into that one.
Yes.
We might go into overtime today because I don't meet many female Jeremys, let alone any male Jeremys. So your attitude, your energy, your message, and how you help, it's really fun. So we might go into a bit of overtime.
That's fine. I love to talk, so as long as you want to have me here.
I like the message that you're talking about. So tell us about what is this cringe factor here?
All right. So I have teenage boys and they're like, Mom, you're super cringe, or that's really cringy what you do. And basically, if you don't know this, it means that it's a gaming term, but it's been adapted. It means cheesy. That it's like awkward and embarrassing, not intentionally embarrassing, but like embarrassing nonetheless. And I was in the middle of the road and I was creating content. I'm shooting these videos. I point up, I point to the side, I point down, and I'm like, it's a TikTok. And my husband's like, oh, it's really nice that you have to appeal to the lowest common denominator. And I'm like, no. And I started singing this little song and dancing towards the camera. And I was cringy. And even if you look at, and I said, this is a cringy mom moment. And I put it in my my mastermind group where there's just a few people. And I was like, this is really funny. I wasn't going to show it. And they're like, you need to show that.
Yeah.
That's you. That's a true Jen Campbell.
Yeah,
and so
the
that's
cheese.
why I'm building
Lean
that.
on the cheese, which is cringe mom, you call it.
Yeah, the cringy mom. I'm the cringy mom. And that's okay. And I own it. And I'm not cringy to embarrass my kids. I'm doing it to build a multi-six-figure business.
Yes, and
I'm
it's
doing
worked.
it to provide the quality of life. Heck Heck yeah, that's what
And
we
that's
want.
when you saw the difference, when the real click happened, when you peeled back that curtain. And you just
Yes.
kind of showed my personality. Yeah, my son and I play the drums, and we put out a bunch of videos, like 14, just one time, of called "Name That Song" on TikTok, and we play the intro or drum roll of a
Uh-huh.
song that we think you should know. Being drummers, so I think everyone knows what the drum sounds like. And but they're getting several hundred hits, and it's been a couple days, and it's so fun. Has nothing to do
Yes.
with business whatsoever. And it got him and me together on a Saturday, which is extremely rare. But that's that's I maybe was being a bit cringe myself, cringy dad there.
No, but this is the thing. Social media can be a great opportunity to connect and build deep and meaningful relationships. And that's
Yes,
what I've been able to do. Some of my best friends are people I've never met in real life.
right there.
Or yes, yes.
For the listeners, building your brand by building personal relationships is on my wall and my smart TV there, because the Noodlebergs taught me that. The Daily Huddle, Steve Noodleberg, Mark Noodleberg, they're amazing business coaches, and that's what they live on, LinkedIn, building relationships, and they are the
Right.
kings of it.
And it's not just like, hey, I'm sliding into your DMs. I'm super creepy.
Oh
I'm
my
trying to sell
gosh.
you something. It's like, hey, I'm concerned about you. I care about you. How can I help you? How can I
Yes.
serve you?
Yeah. How can I serve you? Serving is the thing. In fact, you know what? Very rare. Like second strike for sir. How can I serve you? Who can I serve today? Yeah. And who's watching? Because you don't know.
Mm-mm.
All right. What I'm doing might speak to somebody.
Heck
Might,
yeah.
and without you knowing it. And then when you get those responses, those, you know, you don't realize this, but ... You're like, oh, I just did my job. You know, just did it. So what is it that most satisfies you about working with people? And then let me ask you this way. If I'm talking to somebody, how do I know that they're a client? What are they saying to me to understand that this is somebody that needs to talk to Jen, and Jen can get them where they need to be?
Usually, I work primarily with women. I serve men as well too, but a lot of times it's during a point where they're having a transition time in their life. Either their kids are leaving home, or there is a new status in their relationship. They're switching careers. They hit a milestone birthday, and
Yeah.
they realize that they've changed, and maybe the people around them don't see that, or
Yeah.
they realize they want a different quality of life to be able to balance that work and family,
Yeah.
that they're putting
Listen.
so much energy into
And these
something.
days, look at what's changing. Everything changes, right? The
Heck yeah.
industry changes. The with the shutdowns, the startups, and the work from homes, and the mergers. The life happens, right? So these transitions are also externally kind of generated, also with all the internal stuff that goes on in a family unit.
Right. And when we were talking about before with being able to know, like, and trust someone, they need to know your story and who you are. And you can use
Yes.
that same story when you're doing your messaging, like graphically with the colors that you use and the things that you design. But
Yeah.
I help them with really telling that story. What are those moments where they decided that it was really difficult, it was hard,
Yeah.
but they decided to cringe forward,
Yeah.
that they went from a human being to a human becoming. They
Wow.
decided that they were going to be something
I'm not
more.
giving you a third one because I can't set a precedence, but human being to human becoming.
Yes. Yes.
Jeez.
Because that's what our goal is, or at least mine personally is to develop, to learn, to grow, to change. I don't want to be
Yeah.
stagnant.
No, no, exactly. I wasn't, I never did much in school. In fact, I don't even have a high school diploma, but I remember writing a paper called Grow, something about grow or, I don't know, something about if you're stagnant, it just leads to death.
It does.
It's kind of something like that. It had nothing to do with business, but in business especially, if you don't change, if you don't market, which is branding, and you don't innovate, which is change,
Mhm.
you're gonna be stagnant. And it means stagnant doesn't mean not going forward. It actually means dying. Really,
Right.
I
And
mean, you'll die. Your business will die,
I don't know about anyone else, but it's super uncomfortable.
and that's
You know,
you got to
pushing
be a
yourself
unique
outside of
person to
that.
like that. But you know who likes that? People who have failed and know that that feeling means you're going the right way.
Right? I was just going to say, when you're uncomfortable and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this thing I've never done before, or I've tried it and it did not go very well,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you need to go cringe forward and do it
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah. All right. And it tells you it's like it's a negative, positive, negative, right? It's a it didn't work. That's good. Now I know it doesn't work. Next,
I
right?
got to try something else now.
Yeah.
Or what did I learn from this experience? Because I believe that there are no bad experiences. It's a learning opportunity. It's that moment that you can say, you know what? No matter how horrible whatever it is that I went through, there's at least one nugget, one morsel,
Yeah, that
one
nugget.
tiny thing that can be good about your situation that you can learn from.
And speaking of nuggets, so you've got a couple of books. I'm a nugget hunter when I read. I don't read all that well because I'm dyslexic, has a little bit to do with it. ADHD has a lot more to do with it. But I read a book in 2 or 3 hours, the whole book, because I don't read every word. But I'm an excellent nugget hunter. I could pick out. It just jumps out at me, right? And I'm like, ooh, that's good. And you stop, back up, read that paragraph or maybe that chapter, and then put that into effect, in my next couple days, right? And that's I read a lot of books. I've got tons of more books than I ever thought that I need in my life. But every one of them I could read 2, 3, 4 times because I don't really read every word. So I just get these nuggets. So tell us about what you write about, how that process came about, because that not many people are disciplined enough to finish a book. A lot of people say they want to do something, but not many people finish.
Right.
How'd it come about?
I decided I was going to face my 40 fears before I turned 40, and I blogged about it. And so most people, they might have like 2 or 3 things,
fears.
and they're like airplanes, or I'm afraid of snakes or something like that. Mine are like the deeper things, like I'm afraid of doing my best and failing.
Oh, wow.
Or I'm afraid of public speaking, or even more than that, like I'm afraid of sharing too much with friends.
Yeah.
So
That's a big one. I have a T-shirt that says, "Your biggest fear is how I make my living." All right, because I love being on stage.
ooh, I love that.
It's my fave. But so when you had your fears, like you're right, mine are superficial. My 2 biggest fears are getting my teeth knocked out in a fight, and flying cockroaches, which in South Florida are very real things.
Yeah, we don't have those. We don't have those, thankfully. We don't have all the bugs that you have to deal with.
Yeah, so, but there's other things I don't find. But I had a very, very different childhood where I was exposed to more tragedy than kids are exposed to. So I kind of got all that stuff out. And when I became, I want to say successful, but when I changed my mindset, right? When I took my mindset from reactive to proactive, those kind of things never scared me because I couldn't be worse than I was, right? That failure, the mountain, remember the little yodeler on
Right.
Price is Right,
Yes, yes.
Well, when you're up top, that when you're in the middle of the mountain and you fall and you stop falling, you go, well, I'm still on the side of a mountain. I'm higher than when I was in base camp. So get up, dust it off, and get up, keep going. So those kind of deeper things. But I know that I'm not necessarily the normal person.
Well, I'm a perfectionist. And so that's that fear of like, okay, if I do it and it doesn't turn out exactly how I imagine it to be, is that still success? And going through that process, I was able to really discover who I was as a person, even more than I did, because I try to be self-aware, but I really, really knew myself a lot better at the end of that. And now I'm not afraid of public speaking the way that I was before. I did my best, and I was afraid of failing. I ran a marathon.
Oh,
because
wow.
I knew it was something that I'd have to, consistently do. I'm a one and done. Am I going to do that again? No, it took hours and hours of my time.
Yeah.
So.
And that's not something actually productive, but it's good for your health. But even marathons could be counter healthy, right? Especially when you're injury prone like me. But I want to go back 1 second and just look at that perfectionism stuff, because there's a lot of things they say about perfectionism. One of them is it's a form of procrastination, first of all.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then the other one is, people let perfect get in the way of good. It's good enough anyway. But if you try hard enough towards perfection that you'll never meet, you're going to meet excellence along the way, right? So how did you realize what it was about, why you were taking that perfectionism and letting it stop you from finishing the things you want to do? Or what was the realization that made you maybe not stop being a perfectionist, but not let it stop you from succeeding or getting things done?
I was afraid of being seen, or that my voice didn't matter.
Deeper than that then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So and that's the thing is, and there's the therapy component that goes with that, and your childhood trauma and everything like that we all deal with. That's the best part of being that's the best part about being a parent, right? Like, and I tell my kids, someday you'll have the therapy for whatever I did to traumatize you unintentionally.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too about branding. You just said, I was afraid of not being seen, not being heard. And that's really personal. And that's another part of this personal branding, this building personal relationships. I just turned the light off. It is not just about getting your personality knows. It's about being authentic in almost everything in your life.
Yes.
because these fears and these things that you overcome, this adversity, which is what this show's all about,
Hmm.
not speaking about it is more damaging to your success than getting comfortable, and at least comfortable enough to sharing, because everybody's got their crap.
It was the point where I was like, what I have to say is more important than my fear about saying
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and how it's going to be received, because I know there's at least one person out there that needs not just what I'm saying, but they need it coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
My red lipstick, bold, I wear red lipstick to be able to remind myself to be
Yeah.
bold with what it is that I speak and to speak my truth.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm able to do, because I know that, whether it's a little girl out there that feels uncomfortable and self-conscious about the way that she looks, like I did when I was younger, or it's just someone that needs to feel empowered that, what, I do matter.
Yes. Yeah.
I can make a
And
difference.
it's all related, everything. And we are all related. If we all don't realize the close knit because of the internet, how close we all are from helping each other and being able to serve each other. So let's talk about what you want the audience to know. What would you like us to help you with? How could we, myself and the audience, serve you and the things that you're doing to help people?
Well, there's two quick things. One, I am building a community online for the Cringy Mom, to be able to inspire and encourage women to recognize that their voice has value, so that they can move cringe forward and show up with authenticity in the content that they create online. And then the other thing that I'd like to do to be able to help other people is that I have a values template, and it's a sheet about you, so that you can identify what those 3 core values and 3 words that really identify who you are as a person, which I believe is the foundation of your personal brand.
Yes, that's really great. So, and how do they get a hold of that and of you?
Okay, they can go to jencampbell.com/freebie, FREEBIE,
So
and it's
glad you
Jen
spelled
with
it.
one N. Yeah, and Jen with one N, and it's Campbell. I didn't know there was a P in Campbell until I was engaged to my
You got
husband.
married.
So, right? I was like, the P is silent, apparently.
And then if they want to email you, that's jen@jencampbell.com.
Heck yeah. And I'm on all the social media
Yeah.
platforms. They can find the Cringy Mom. It's CRINGEY.
So that's really the thing that sticks you up, because there is not many Jeremy 2 risks out there. So I'm like, everyone wants to find me a 2 risk. You'll find me. If it's out there, it's probably mine. But Jen Campbell's, oh my Lord.
Oh,
so the
so many.
lesson from that is Jen Campbell/cringy is not
Yeah,
very
right. I'm the Cringy Mom.
populated out there. Right.
Or if
That's amazing.
you Google Jen Campbell personal branding, hopefully I'm moving up there.
Yes.
But Jennifer's the 3rd most common name in the United States for women. And Campbell is like 42 for last name. So, that's
Wow.
an uphill battle. So when you're branding yourself on social media, especially, making sure your social media handles are consistent across all the platforms, and choosing, I could have been Jenny, Jennifer, or whatever, picking one name, signing
Yeah.
all your emails that way, and showing up online that way everywhere helps.
Yep. And that's the whole thing. And that personal touch, what is the unique about you in this Cringy
Yes.
Mom, is really something that everyone can relate to. And people think,
heck yeah.
I don't have anything. Like, everything's been said, everything's been done, and it's pretty much true. Everything's been said, everything's been done. But because it's all been said and done, something's got to inspire you, spark some sort of imagination.
And it doesn't have to be unique. That's when I work on helping someone create their personal brand story. Actually, what we're looking for are those things that are universal, that everyone can connect with.
Yes. Yeah.
That moment of sense
That's
of
awesome.
connection and belonging and everything like that. Because you might think you have an ordinary life, and maybe you do, but there's extraordinary things in ordinary moments.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And these are the things that inspire me to keep going on, because those kind of nuggets, where would I come across that if I wasn't here talking to you, and having you expose these things to my listeners, because this is what really inspires us to go out and try that. Right. And so for me, my biggest thing isn't the fear of not being perfect. It's the immediacy that I need to see results that stops me from succeeding in life. And if like working out, for example, and if I work out one morning and I go home and I didn't lose 3 pounds, I'm not working out anymore for the rest of the week. I'm done.
And it's that consistency over time that's really difficult, that you show up every day over time. And that's how you build your social network with your following on any of your social media platforms.
Yeah.
That's how
so
you're
I had to adjust
business.
that. What is or an accomplishment, right? That getting
Mhm.
1% better instead of looking for 30% in one day. And so that's these little things, meeting people like you and having all these things to make me go, how can I find my more, unique self that is general? So those are two things that really have to go together, and it's going to take a professional like you to really pull that out of people. And I'm gonna make sure to do my best to get people to see you and hear
Love it.
you, so you
Thank
don't have
you.
to have that going on. And yeah, we're gonna do great things. I got a feeling that we're gonna be in our orbits together because we're just helping too many of the same people.
I love that. And that's the thing. It's building those relationships of trust and getting to know the other people that are around you and how you can serve them. So I'm so glad.
Me
What
too.
a great opportunity to be able to connect with people who share your same vision and values to be able to make the world better simply by showing up. It's
Well,
a good
super
thing.
thank you to you. I
Thanks.
appreciate your time being on this show and having my people exposed to a way that they can get their message apart. And I love the Cringy Mom angle. We are going with that, and we're going to push the heck out of it before this thing airs in a week or so. We'll talk soon.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jen. And to everyone here listening, I appreciate everything that you all are doing with this show. We're doing really great things. We're getting up in the numbers of the subscribers and stuff. So please keep that up because it just exposes us to that many more people. People like Jen coming on and showing us how she helps people. Just makes me feel like I know I'm doing the right thing by putting the effort into this show because, where would you have me help you this way with awesome people like Jen? So we will see you again very soon, and always remember to go pro.